I think it's important to state right now that President-elect you-know-who has chosen Susie Wiles to be his chief of staff. And she said to him, I need for you to keep the clown car away from the Oval Office. She said that to him as though he's not a clown.
Right. What amazes me about that is, did you ever envision a president-elect that you would have to say, let's keep the clown car out of the Oval Office? Because nobody is questioning who the clown car is. Everyone knows he runs with a clown car.
I was taking it a step further and talking about the irony of her telling him, who is the biggest clown on the planet, to keep the clown car away when the clown car is coming from within inside the Resolute desk in the Oval Office. He is the clown car.
He is the head driver for the clown car.
So, and moving along, that's who he appointed chief of staff. Then he appoints Deputy Chief of Staff, policymaker, sociopath, Stephen Miller. I mean, who's just this guy. I mean, it's unbelievable that this guy is anywhere near power.
It's absolutely incredible. And I can't help but think there's no other administration in the history of the world where he would even be close to power. And I just want to point out for the record that Jesse Waters called him the matador of sexual desire on Fox News. And I will also remind the listener that he is the one at the rally at MSG that said America is for Americans only. This guy is a white supremacist.
Well, the significance of him saying that it's exactly what Hitler said. Germany is for Germans and Germans only. And so this is, there's just such an evil, nefarious force at play. And then to prove to the world that we don't care at all about our country, he appoints UN Ambassador Elise Stefanik. I mean, this is not a serious person.
No.
This is a Trump sycophant. She embarrasses herself every time she goes on the news. And then we have the EPA climate denying Lee Zeldin, who completely is a climate denier. And what a shame. Like, we could send a message to the world that we're going to take climate change seriously, that we don't argue facts in this country. We accept facts. I guess not. Border czar, who's this complete lunatic, sociopath, cruel Tom Homan, who has spent the last 3 years on these really, really, really far right January 6th style podcasts. I mean, fringe, Alex Jones style fringe, Alex Jones style cruelty, but even more. And he's going to be the border czar. And then this is where I think we show the most weakness of all. We have Elon Musk, and I don't know if he's first lady. I don't know if he's first bitch. I don't know why he has so much proximity other than he paid to play. But he's sitting next to Donald Trump when he speaks to all of these world leaders. Imagine if Joe Biden or Barack Obama had George Soros sitting next to him on all of these calls to world leaders. He has no qualifications to do this. Just because you created Tesla and you got a lot of government projects doesn't mean you should make policy. He clearly has a ton of special interests. But I guess, I mean, is that we just don't care about that anymore?
Conflict of interest seems to have gone by the wayside. One thing about Elon Musk that is so shocking is he's in regular contact with Putin. He did favors for Xi in China in regards to Taiwan. He withholds Starlink from Ukraine, but allows full access to Russia. This is not a pro-democracy guy. This is an oligarch, wannabe dictator. And I think he sees Trump as his chance because he can make Trump the useful idiot that Putin has already made him.
And he's not he doesn't meet the qualifications to become president because he was born in South Africa.
Right.
And so this is as close as he can get. And it's just unbelievable how much the American public voted to surrender our country that is far from perfect, but always tried to progress towards a more perfect union. And here we are. But okay, here's where we've got, which I think is going to be the most interesting post-Trump era autopsy, are all of these Republicans that were, I would never vote for them. I thought they were blowhards, et cetera, but they kind of towed the party line. And I'm talking about Marco Rubio. And there's a lot of them. Mm-hmm. And they came out guns blazing against Trump originally. He's a threat to democracy. He's a moron. Yak, yak, blah, blah. But don't hear me say it. Let's hear Marco say it.
5 days ago, we began to explain to the American people that Donald Trump is a con artist. The party of Lincoln and Reagan and the presidency of the United States will never be held by a con artist. Friends do not let friends vote for con artists. And friends don't let friends vote for con artists.
I can just tell you that a con artist is about to take over the Republican Party and the conservative movement, and we have to put a stop to it. There is no way we are going to allow a con artist to take over the conservative movement, and Donald Trump is a con artist.
I mean, this is going to be the next Secretary of State. And how do you go and sit down with other world leaders when that is your history of what you've said about this person? This is not a serious person. When you make that big of a 180 turn, you are completely in the wrong direction. He made a 180 turn for the guy that he calls a con artist. Nobody's going to take him seriously. I don't take him seriously. No. I think he's just a little, I mean, he's on a leash. And then Trump's on a leash to Putin. And everybody's getting dog walked. And you know what the thing is about these fucking MAGA people? They want to take things away from people. They want to take away rights. They want to wreak havoc. And have you noticed the lack of celebration in this country after he won?
Yes. People I'm around are just sick. But I don't see a lot of... I mean, obviously on Twitter, you see the MAGA faithful, but I don't see a lot of celebration.
Pumps, I love to eat clean and eat healthy, but I cannot stomach going to the store all the time.
I feel the exact same way, and that's why I love Green Chef. Green Chef goes straight to your home, and you do not have to worry about all the time it takes for planning, shopping, and prepping. And there's organic produce in every box.
That's right, listener. Green Chef is the #1 meal kit for clean eating, so you can feel good about creating good-for-you meals with limited processed ingredients. Every week, you'll find menu options for every lifestyle, from Mediterranean meals to customizable plant-based options and certified gluten-free recipes. Green Chef makes it easy to support whole body health with wellness-focused solutions for every meal from breakfast to dessert. Find all sorts of curated items to aid digestion, provide inflammation support, and boost fiber-like ready-to-blend smoothies. Listener, go to greenchef.com/IHIP50 and use code IHIP50 for 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next 2 months. That's code IHIP50 at greenchef.com/IHIP50 to get 50% off your first box plus that additional 20% off your next 2 months. Green Chef, the #1 meal kit for eating well. I thought I would see a lot more MAGA hats, a lot more, happiness. I think I saw on Twitter that the biggest Google search in a lot of these red states is, how do I change my vote?
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Yeah. Buyer's remorse already. And we haven't even started. One thing I just want to point out about Marco Rubio. This is a man that cannot stand up to anyone. And Donald Trump put out on social media, I want people that can sell my agenda. He's doing it by video. He's making everybody make a TV video for him to watch instead of meeting in person and reading their qualifications. And he wants someone that will go defend him. He doesn't give a shit about the future of the country or international relations. He wants somebody that will kiss his ass. And as we have seen, and that tape clearly proved, Marco Rubio cannot get in line quick enough to kiss his ass.
I just think this is the grossest revelation of Trumpism, is how many people have sold out. On a personal note, like I remember back when Trump ran in 2015, 2016, I remember some of my most staunchly Republican friends saying, I would never vote for him. He will ruin the Republican Party. And then they have completely morphed over to full-blown Trumpers, cultists. And I think that is just the most interesting component of this, that there is a large percentage of the American population, from leadership all the way down to citizens, that don't have a moral backbone. Truly, there is no moral backbone. There is this regressive nature about human beings to just default back to this cruelty and feeling entitled, and to cave to the worst impulses that human beings have. And you see it always on the right. They just cave and cave and cave. And to this man, he wants people to be loyal to him, not to the country, not to the Constitution, but to him personally. And I think that is so weak. I think I would not want people around me that had to engage in all of this superficial charm. Oh, Jennifer, you're so great. Oh, Jennifer, you're such a great tennis player, when I know I'm not. Oh, Jennifer, you're such a great pickleball player, when I know I'm not. I wouldn't want to hear the superficial flattery. I would be like, come on, save it. I'm not that dumb. But apparently he is that dumb. And he is that emotionally broken, and he is that psychologically broken. So it leads me to believe that a large portion of the American public, what you have here are like the psychological disorder and a lot of brokenness and dysfunction, and they've all come together. And we have like the broken, dysfunctional people governing us.
Well, I was just thinking about this morning. I remember when character and integrity and morals, ethics mattered in politics. And I think that's something you have to think about now. That didn't matter at all, because everyone has debased themselves in leadership in the Republican Party. They have debased themselves to the basic, most animalistic instinct for proximity to power. What are we looking at in the American people? That lack of morals, ethics, integrity, character, why are they behind it? And I don't know the answer. Hopefully the historians can figure that out. But you've just got a whole sect of the population that was able to sacrifice every value of character, integrity, all the things for Donald Trump.
I would argue that it started decades ago, the erosion, and it has climaxed with Trump. It started with Nixon, the erosion, and then it's continued on. And I think history will show that. And Trump is the peak of this. He's the most dangerous, surrounded by the most dangerous people. And what fascinates me is that a large portion of the American public is so stupid that they do not realize that, number one, what they saw for 4 years when he was president. Number two, what they saw for 4 years, the grievance, the titty baby, the poor me, people are mean to me, there's witch hunts against me, they rigged the election against me, 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 me. In normal circumstances, if you're ever around anyone like this, you can't get away from them quick enough.
No.
But they're like a moth to a flame. And then I guess I don't get that people don't understand the implications of an administration. And when you have the people of his first administration saying they would never vote for him again because he's not intellectually curious, he's lazy, he's dangerous, he's not very bright, all of these things. And it's not just one person, it's all of these people that say it. Well, the fascist thing, what I heard a person say, that Sarah Longwell.
Uh-huh.
So when she was interviewing people, independent voters and MAGA voters, does it bother you that people think that Trump is a fascist or an authoritarian? They say, what's an authoritarian? They say, what's a fascist?
Wow.
So, there's all of these little like group me's and stuff that are forming. And I was in this group me, and somebody wrote, hey, don't call Trump supporters stupid, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, is that really going to help us? Aren't they kind of stupid? Can't we say that? Can't we say and she said, well, maybe they're ignorant. And I'm like, no, nobody's ignorant to Donald Trump. Nobody. We have seen him for a decade in the public square. No one is naive nor ignorant about Donald Trump, which leaves two options: breathtaking stupidity or breathtaking cruelty. And under the cruelty lies racism, homophobia, sexism, xenophobia, entitlement, all of the worst impulses of human beings. And we all know what breathtaking stupidity is because it's the clown car that now his chief of staff is trying to keep out of the Oval Office.
Well, he is the leader.
With Bozo sitting behind the Resolute desk. Bozo the clown, the president. But hey, I'm going to keep the clowns away from the Oval. I mean, shut up.
Shut up. Maybe instead of just the orange makeup, he can just don a red nose so it's clear.
Yeah. All right, guys. We'll see you later.